Holland III is a Dean's List student at the University of Pennsylvania, Ivy League College. He's also an outstanding student athlete who's had a lot of success on and off the court. Ed is finishing this year at Penn, and he's making plans to go to graduate school. The reason I wanted to talk to you, Ed, is because our company is Next Step. Mm-hmm. And Next Step, as the name implies, we try to help kids and young people prepare for their next step.
Yes.
And I've been communicating and working with you and your parents and your older brother since you were in high school. And I thought that it would be really valuable for young people to hear your answers to a few questions.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why we're here today. So question number one, what study habits or techniques help you succeed in high school, and how did you adapt those skills when you transitioned to college? Because I want to note that you went to one of the most competitive academic schools in the area, over at Friends Central. So what study habits or techniques really helped you succeed in high school?
I would say the two biggest ones are time management, knowing how to really manage your time, and being organized. I would say especially going at Friends Central and going to Penn, learning really early, as early as possible, how to be organized, whether that's your schoolwork.
How early did you start thinking about that explicitly?
Really, my parents have really taught me that.
Since elementary?
The majority of my life, yeah. Just from coming home, and we would always have a routine. So as far as homework, basketball, studies, reading time, it was very much like an organized time slot, so that it wasn't a lot of space to really fluctuate from that. And so that made sure you got everything done. And it takes a little bit of pressure off yourself, because the earlier you can develop that, the better. Because obviously as you get deeper into high school and entering college, your schedule is just going to be really heavy. And it can all kind of hit a lot at the same time. A lot of the tasks you have to do with school, and a lot of what you have to do with basketball. So the earlier you learn how to manage your time and how to stay organized, especially I would say with schoolwork, just making sure it doesn't overflow you, is the best two skills that for me personally helped me the most in my transition in college.
Now, how did you adapt those skills when you transitioned to college? Because mom and dad wasn't there.
Yeah, a lot of it is just the same as picking up off of high school. Like coming into college, obviously you need to go through your learning and transition period. You're of course going to make mistakes. You're going to have a lot of times when you're going to feel overwhelmed, just because not only the workflow is different, but the day is different. A lot more of your day is predicated towards just school and basketball than before in high school. So obviously that's an adjusting period, but I would say creating a strong organizational and time management habits in high school, and just getting used to that will just help you, because it'll be more of a natural fit once you get to college. You'll already be picking up off those skills you've had, and so you're just kind of applying them into a little bit of a new schedule. So I would say just making sure that you just find time to really manage what your schedule is. Even getting your schedule early ahead of time and creating a plan ahead of time helps. Just really to dedicate hours to get in the gym yourself, getting extra shots up, getting in with your coaches. Obviously practice is going to have its own separate time film. But you're also going to have time to find time to do your homework and time to write your papers, study for your exams. So just really laying it out early so you kind of have an idea of what that looks like will really help.
All right, I'm glad you mentioned time management. Time management is critical in college. Exactly how did you manage your time, and what tools or method did you use to balance the academics and basketball and your personal life? You use calendars, you use a daily to-do list. How did you get that done?
It's funny. I actually never have been a fan of calendars. I've never really had calendars per se, just to like kind of write stuff down. But for me, a lot of what it will be like is just a checklist.
In your head or on paper?
No, on a piece of paper. I'll do it on my computer, so I have a running checklist before each week. And so on that checklist, I'll kind of look over my schedule, whether that's basketball. It obviously gets more hectic during the season when you're traveling, because when you're traveling, it's a lot more time to where you're on the move and you're on planes or on buses, whatever, you're in hotels. So really finding time to do your schoolwork. And for us, I went to Penn, and the teachers do a really good job accommodating athletes, but you still have to get your work done.
Just like everybody else.
Just like every other student. And so really making sure that while you're on the road and even in your normal day-to-day, just really at the beginning of the week, I would just write down all of the assignments and homework assignments that I would have. Once you're in college, I don't know really if they had this in high school, but once you're in college, they'll give you a syllabus and they'll list every single assignment, all your work, all your exams listed out. So the early can kind of get on top of that. I would do Sunday night, just make sure all of my assignments are accounted for, and I'd have the time slots already prepared that I would be free to work on those, and obviously still managing that, balancing that with the time to get to the gym.